That is just terrifying to see that lava just flowing. It's slowly, but it's terrifying nevertheless. Thank you very much for those videos, Kim. Appreciate that. We're talking about Carbon Monoxide Awareness Week, and with details on that, let's go over to Kelly. Well, so there's a pretty compelling thing to think about as we go through Carbon Monoxide Awareness Week. I'm going to sort of stay on that safety front right now and turn it over to Kevin talking about the flu shot. Thank you, Kevin. So we covered safety, health, and now talking about the forecast. So that's planning, right? Plan for westerly wind today. It may be moderate at times, increased cloud cover later tonight in anticipation of the next low pressure system that will be a rainmaker. 5 to 10 millimeters of rain expected. That low moves off to Atlantic Canada, strengthens, and then gives us a break briefly because the next one comes in with rainfall once again, and it's behind that low that the temperatures drop off into next week. A westerly wind direction expected today, and then the winds shifting as we have our next low pressure system that's headed our way, bringing us some rainfall. But first, though, let's check in with Kevin. He is in Burlington. Aw, so adorable, dressed like Tui. It's wonderful stuff because we have a low pressure system that is headed our way, and it will bring us a slightly different wind direction tomorrow, so it should be a tad warmer. Things start to happen because we start to tap into some cold Arctic air. Not only for us, but a large part of the country will be basked in the, well, I guess you bask in the heat. We just contend with the cold, right? That's going to be the case next week. So low pressure system is coming through, brings us some rain, not a big time rain, 5-10 millimeters of rain at best. And then the line would be up towards Sudbury and Elliott Lake drop. So this is where it gets interesting because we now start to see the snow icons showing up. And yeah, we're talking lake effect. We have had some enhancement from the Great Lakes and Lake Superior as of late, but now we're talking about the southern lakes, right? And then snowfall, 2 degrees on Wednesday. That cold Arctic air will be making its presence known by next week here in the GTA. Throughout the whole month of October, every Wednesday we presented storm hunters to you. Well, now that we're in early November, it's time for the best of, and that is going to be on the Weather Network exclusively later tonight. Let's check in, though, and see a sneak peek. Don't miss it right here on the Weather Network tonight at 7 and 10 p.m. Let's check in on our weather conditions. We have got some colder air on the way. There is even now some snow showing up in your local forecast. I know. Fear not. We're going to check in with Kevin right now in Burlington, see what it's like outside right now. Thank you so much, Kevin. Well, as we are looking at our low pressure system arriving, it's warm enough still to see rainfall. But it gets interesting next week because we'll have some cold Arctic air in place over the enhancement on Lake Superior with the last system that came through. But for us, it's going to be 5 at most 10 millimeters of rain, especially closer to Georgian Bay and then back towards southwestern Ontario. So off goes that low pressure system. It strengthens into a new low for Atlantic Canada. Temperatures dropping. So now that brings us down into Monday 7. But look at this by Tuesday, and this could be lake effect that we're talking about on Tuesday. So perhaps a time to start thinking about snow tires. Hamilton, 7 degrees on Saturday with rain. Next Tuesday, some snow is possible. Thank you for that, Chris. We're going to take a look, of course, at our weather conditions, and things are going to get a lot colder by the time we get into next week. But let's put that aside. We'll talk more about your forecast after we check in with Kasia talking about carbon monoxide. Thank you very much, Kasia. Well, weather-wise, we do have some cold air that's headed our way. Another low-pressure system for the time being, though, bringing in another swath of rain. The clouds will increase Thursday morning. The rain moves through, and we're not expecting to see a lot of rain. This isn't a flooding rain by any means, but it will be about 5 millimeters or less, perhaps a little bit more as you head down. Evening now for Atlantic Canada, getting that low pressure system, which is strengthening. Then here comes another low for saturating in, and we're looking at actually next Tuesday a potential snowfall too. Don't miss the best of Storm Hunters exclusively on the Weather Network at 7 and 10 p.m. You don't want to miss it. And just to entice you further, here's a sneak peek. They always come back with some amazing adventures. You don't want to miss it. And we'll have that at 7 and 10 p.m. So set your PVR if you're going to be out this evening. We're going to check in right now with Kasia for a very important awareness week. Thank you very much, Kasia. We have a low pressure system that is on the way again. It will be a rainmaker, though. We don't have the cold Arctic air in place quite yet. But we will see a shift in wind direction today. The westerlies. Tomorrow, we're looking at more of a southerly flow as that low pressure system moves across. And with that, we will see some rain showers moving through. Not big time rains of 5 to 10 millimeters because the temperatures are going to get colder. And then we have lake effect that we may begin to talk about as soon as Tuesday, and possibly from this point forward, that could be a pattern that we see, but it's not all that uncommon, right, for the month of November. We often get a lot of lake effect and squall.
Our event?
So now we're looking at the November. Remember we talked about the October totals and how excessive it was?
Yes.
It's only the 4th of, this is to the 4th of November. And look at that, we're already still in line to see probably some pretty excessive rainfall we expect.
Millimeters in Squamish, you well exceeded your Ottawa averages when we looked at the chart that you were referring to.
So let's take a look at quickly here a 7-day forecast. We get some breaks here by Friday for Vancouver.
One way that we like to bring to you cold temperatures, and that is with the color purple.
That's right. Well, you know what? We're going to be seeing a lot of cold air filtering down. It's from the Arctic, and that's going to begin as early as, say, Saturday night into Sunday for northern portions of the country, and then by early next week, we're going to be certainly feeling the cold.
So what is polar vortex? As you can read here, found in the upper levels of the atmosphere. It's permanent because it continued on for the entire winter. And of course, when it breaks off and tracks south, that's when the purples invade from the far north and make their way to very populated areas.
Storm hunters, it's bright tonight on the Weather Network. Here is a sneak peek of what you can expect. Already talking snowstorms. Thank you so much, Chris, for that. Nothing of the sort yet. We may have some lake effect next week, but let's deal with the heat for the time being and remind ourselves that on Tuesday we hit 16 degrees in St. Catharines. The only other spot that was warmer was Lytton, BC, which was 16.6. So nearly the hot spot in the nation yesterday. Pearson at 14.1. So overall, we've been dealing with some nice temperatures. We're going to see a little step down as we head into the end of the week, and even for this afternoon, that step down begins. We do have, for the most part, some dry weather for the time being. Lake effect setting up. This low brings us some showers. Let's go over to Burlington and check in with Kevin. No complaining allowed, Kevin. The temperatures on Thursday are going to be in the double digits barely. Some cases further to the north, the cold air is starting to be felt in North Bay with some mixing and some snow. Further south, though, it's all about the rain. 5 to at most 10 millimeters of rain. And then by the time we get into the weekend, we've got another low coming through. But what does the forecast hold in the long range? That lake effect coming in, we'll have details on that coming up. So don't forget to catch the best of Storm Hunters at 7 and 10 p.m. Let's go out to Kevin and see what the conditions are like in Burlington. Thank you very much, Kevin. We have some rainfall in the forecast, generally 5 millimeters across southern Ontario, although locally, toward Georgian Bay and down toward Lake St. Clair could go as high as about, say, 10 millimeters of rain. We do have a westerly flow today. The temperatures are not too bad for the time being. We've got still warm enough to see rain in the south, but we're getting some snowfall in northern Ontario. And in terms of the temperatures, 7 degrees this evening for Toronto, 6 in Hamilton, and starts to infiltrate, and that's going to begin as early as, well, really the weekend and early next week. That's when we're definitely going to be feeling the impact of some of this very cold air coming in across many sections of Canada. Thank you very much, Kelly. And the 7-day forecast in Toronto, we're talking about that cold air. Look at this. The snowflakes are now showing up on the icon for Tuesday of next week. So some cold air will be in place by then. When we look at Saturday, 6 degrees. That's seasonal for this time of year. We've got a detailed discussion, actually, about climate change coming up in the next few with Chris May and May Day. Stay with us.